Welcome to BaseballGuys.com. I'm your host around the horn, Ray Flowers. Brandon Morrow was having a terrific season like I predicted he very well could in 2012 before injuring his oblique, causing him to go on the disabled list. Now, it wasn't a major issue at the time. People were hoping he'd be back relatively quickly in less than a month's time. Then things kind of went quiet. Morrow on his Twitter page says, look, I'm doing well, I'm feeling better, I'm looking good to go. I think this is going to be a short-term thing. But then the Vancouver Sun rather quietly posted an article that stated Morrow would miss months, that he would be out until at least August. Obviously, that would be the entire month of July, a lot longer than people expected. Now, John Lott of the National Post came out today and said, look, Brandon Morrow's feeling better. He threw a little bit on the side. He's feeling good. He doesn't have any pain. Maybe he'll be able to return quicker than some people were expecting. So I don't really know where we're at with Brandon Morrow. We've got two really conflicting reports here. The positive news, again, is that he is throwing, that he is feeling better. You never know with an oblique issue. They can crop up at any time. Hopefully we'll see him in mid-July instead of mid-August. Keep your fingers crossed if you are a Brandon Morrow owner. CC Sabathia, we know for sure what's going on there. He's got a grade 1 strain of the left groin muscle, and he's heading to the disabled list. Now, what makes this so odd is that, well, all pitchers are always a risk, and almost every pitcher at some point ends up being hurt. CC Sabathia never gets hurt. Each of the last 5 seasons, he's made at least 33 starts and thrown 230 innings. The most durable pitcher in baseball this side of Roy Halladay. We've now lost Halladay to injury. We've now lost CC Sabathia to injury as well. This is tough. Obviously, for the Yankees, it's tough for Sabathia owners who drafted him knowing that they would get, or expecting that they would get, that tremendous consistency on the hill. Sabathia, hopeful to return right after the All-Star break. So, again, this is not a situation that the team believes will be a long-term one, but it is something they'll knock him out for a couple of weeks. And don't forget, even though he is out, he still has a chance to throw 180 innings, something he has done every one of the 11 seasons that he has been a big league hurler. Daniel Hudson. Daniel Hudson is another injured pitcher, and he might be going in the opposite direction at the moment. He's got elbow issues, and they're going to run a series of tests today to determine, hopefully, what is wrong. But he says his elbow is sore. He says it's gotten progressively worse. He's allowed 21 runs in his last 14 innings pitched. He has been dreadful of late. A lot of concern that this might be something that can keep him out for a substantial length of time. At this point, it seems, I'm reading tea leaves, but it really seems like a minimum 15-day disabled list stint. Keep those fingers crossed, those tests, the MRIs and such don't reveal anything drastic. Patrick Corbin has been recalled, at least in the short term, to take the rotation spot of Daniel Hudson. Let's go to the bullpen. A couple of relievers who were terrific to start the year hit really rough patches of late. That's Aroldis Chapman of the Reds and the Giants, Santiago Casilla. Chapman, I mean, let's face it, even with the massive struggles he's had the past 10 days, his ERA is 1.98. His whip is under 0.8. He's striking out over 15.8 guys per 9 innings. Even with that horrible 10-day period of time, his numbers are still absolutely phenomenal. He went out and looked really good on Tuesday night. Everything should be fine with Chapman. Just a bump in the road. Do have some concerns over his elbow. There's been some tenderness there over the time. Some concerns about his ability to continue to be this dominant, i.e. throwing strikes. He'll continue to strike people out. But it's his ability to throw strikes that has been so fantastic. He's really seemed to learn how to pitch. That's more of a concern to me than a couple of bad days. That happens to everyone. And again, overall, simply stupendous numbers. Now, the case of Casilla is a little more concerning. Casilla doesn't have the arm of Chapman. He came into the year as a depth option in the Giants bullpen, only was asserted into that closer's role because of the injury to Brian Wilson. Allowed 5 runs in 3 outings. Really started to get a lot of people concerned. Sergio Romo, who I pushed very hard in the preseason, continues to pitch as if he is, I'm going to say it, just about the best pitcher in baseball. Look up Sergio Romo's numbers. They're absolutely phenomenal. People were pushing for maybe Romo to take that job because of the rough 3 outings that Casilla had. He rebounded on Tuesday night, he looked decent in doing so. He's now 21 for 23 in converting saves. Gotta think that's a pretty long leash unless those struggles continue. Sergio Romo, though, someone to keep an eye on. But again, Giants just don't use him enough. He's more of a depth play. Actually, he's more of an NL-only play at this point. They just don't use him enough. Ryan Braun's got a sore elbow. He was hit by a pitch the other day. He's not in the lineup on Wednesday. Thursday, day off for the Brewers. They hope he can get back there on Friday, but there's some uncertainty there. Braun says it's very difficult to bend his elbow right now. Now, Braun has been terrific after a bit of a slow start to the year. He's hitting .311. He's on pace for 40 home runs, 110 RBIs, 100 runs scored, 25 steals. Not quite to the level of last season, but damn close. Basically been a top 5 overall hitter this season. Not a surprise to me, though it is to some. We'll have to keep our fingers crossed. It's like the third time I've said that today. To make sure that he's not disabled or misses a substantial amount of time. But again, the hope is he'll return to action on Friday for the Brewers. And then finally, the case of Jed Lowrie. I'm not the biggest Jed Lowrie fan. And I think anyone that's read my work or listened to me knows that. And it's kind of played itself out, but it kind of hasn't of late. Now, Lowrie leads all NL shortstops, or all shortstops actually, with 14 bombs. It's been a great power season for him so far. But the batting average is a concern. 290s in April, 270s in May, and it's down at 240 in June. So you think, oh boy, this is trouble. And while it is concerning, it's very odd. His OPS has gone completely in the other direction. It's gone from 805 to 859 to 923. I don't think that Lowrie's a 30 home run bat. I know that's the pace he's on right now, but I don't think that's really his game. If he does hit 30 home runs and bats 240, you wouldn't care anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I would look for the power to recede a bit, maybe the average to come up a bit, and for him to be a productive shortstop. But don't overlook the fact, we talked about all these injuries today with players, Jed Lowrie has never been able to be on that field consistently without picking up an injury of his own. You know what? Fourth time. Keep those fingers crossed he'll be able to do that for the Astros in the second half. I'm Ray Flowers, BaseballGuys.com. I'll talk to you all again soon.